Okay, everybody, here we go. Are you ready? Are you freaking ready? Because I got stuff. I got stuff to tell you. I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing, but if I don't laugh, I'll probably scream. Anyway, just right off the bat, you guys can hear me 5 by 5. Let me know. I'd appreciate that. Anyway, look, post market. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate that. So, post market wrap up Friday, December 13th, 2024. What I'm going to do here, just to get myself, because again, I have a lot of stuff to cover. If you're hoping for a short video, you're probably not going to get one. But as you all know, the complaint desk, which there isn't one, it just happens to be, it's closed. Let's start off with the market so I can get my head on straight just real quick. So, an interesting phenomenon is occurring here, and it's getting some attention by the mainstream media. Let me show you this. It's a disaster over here. So, Wall Street pressured by rising bond yields. People, you and I clearly understand, I mean, better than anybody, that the debt market is key. It is the key here. Now, I want to show you something I'm not going to say this is alarming because it isn't. And I'm going to tell you what I believe is going to happen. I was right last time. Let's see if I'm right again. What am I talking about? Here's the US 10-year yield. The 10-year yield 4.4. Now, with regard to the stock market being under any pressure today, this is what we got on the back of rising bond yields. All right, so I wouldn't say this is anything dramatic, okay? But there is a caveat. There is a caveat here. The caveat is this. Now, let's back up just a little bit so I can get us all up to speed. Right now, the federal funds rate is between 4.5 and 4.75. There's an issue here, and I'm going to echo of what I was saying the last time we saw something like this happen. Believe what I'm telling you. Believe what I'm telling you. The Fed is watching this. The market, obviously, is watching this, okay? See that? The issue is, being that we know, let's just take the low end of the federal funds rate, 4.5. Okay. With the Fed, we're going to hear from the Fed next year. They're probably going to lower that. But let's just say, and that even sets up a bigger problem for the Fed here, believe it or not. Well, the problem is really for us, but let me just outline this. So right now, the federal funds rate, the lower end 4.5, we're very close to that with regard to the 10-year yield. The market will not like to see, again, a par federal funds rate 10-year yield. This could potentially set up what we actually need anyway is this market to drop. But I am not certain they're going to allow this to happen. You understand? First of all, you got year-end bonuses by the corporate big fat cats executives. Their bonuses are based on year-end stock price. The higher the stock prices go, the bigger and the fatter and maybe the uglier their bonuses are going to be. They can go out and buy their Rolls Royces and their yachts and their extra freaking mansions that they have all over the world anyway. So I will be watching this pretty closely. Now, let me show you something else real quick. This is the MMRI. It's, look, am I alarmed by this? No. Because why? First of all, if you subscribe to my newsletter, again, it's 100% free. I know you're waiting for link in the description of this video here. There's no uncontrolled sell-off here with regard to the 10-year yield or the debt market, which is the key. You all know that. Anyway, so, and again, I really believe this. And I said it last time. I don't know if I'm going to be right, but I think I'm going to be right. Okay. The Fed's not going to allow the 10-year yield to par the federal funds rate or the overnight lending rate. You understand? I just can't imagine that this is going to happen, because if it does, it really, look, man, this entire SHIT show is on a knife's edge. It would take almost nothing to set off a big sell-off in the debt market, which would bleed off into everything else. So I just don't see this happening. I really believe that we're going to see intervention, and I'm going to laugh when it does. I'm going to laugh when it does, and so are you, because it's too predictable. We know what they're going to do. We know what they're looking at. Believe me, they're looking at this too, and so is Wall Street. Now, as we just covered, we got a mixed day with regard to the stock market. Now, of course, doing very well, crypto. Gold and silver doing exactly what you would expect it to do. Crude oil getting a bit higher here on the back of war, expanding war, and it's not going to stop. You all know that. I'm telling you again, I'm going to say it again. Embrace this, people. Embrace this, because this stuff is on sale. If you think that global debt is not going to stop ballooning, well, then obviously, it's not going to stop. In no way is global debt going to stop ballooning. This is central banks who have us all by the throat and on the same page? Yeah, that's where they got us by. And they're not going to stop. And there's a big part of this is what's about to happen with regard to the banks. And we're going to talk more about that. I got a little bit of inside info for you, but let's keep this between ourselves. Before we get to that, so what's already being broadcast to the market is this. The Fed will be cutting rates next week. Imagine our shock. I already told you, I can't see how the Fed can justify doing this as inflation continues to rise, but we don't matter. And they think you're too stupid to know any better. Okay, but that's not the case for you that follow this blog. Now, with that, you got the ECB governors, they're backing more cuts. Imagine our shock here. You know what the goal is here of every single central bank: to inflate. This is what they've chosen to do. Create currency out of nothing, buy the debt, and it makes them monumentally stronger. It's a crazy situation here. I want you to see a headline. I think you're going to get a kick out of it. The economy and the Fed could shine in 2025. Well, let me say this. The economy is going to get destroyed because the Fed's going to empower themselves by inflating and by forcing. And we have no say-so in this, okay? Further rate suppression here, and obviously massive. And I told you this for months ago, before the selection. Before the selection took place, I told you what we were going to see come 2025. Massive currency devaluation, not just here in the United States, but all over the place. But I'm going to say this more specifically. Europe, my European friends, and there's a lot of you here, and right here in what used to be known as the United States of America, we have devolved into a corporate state controlled by the government, and the government just happens to be the Federal Reserve. Now, look, where do I start with this kind of stuff? Well, first of all, this is really great. So Meta and Amazon and a whole bunch of other big companies are donating millions of dollars to Trump's inauguration. I thought that he didn't like Meta. I thought Meta didn't like him either. It's all a game, man. But congratulations to Trump. Let's give him a big hand. He's getting millions and millions of dollars for the inauguration. Good for him. I guess bad for you. Let us move forward here, my friends. I want to read this to you. This is in your inbox if you do, again, subscribe to my newsletter. So, Lions, here's a bit of inside info. Now, keep this between us, because if it gets out there that I'm spreading something like this, you knew this already, what I'm going to tell you, but here we go. Lions, Wall Street is a rumor mill, and I talk to everybody. Now, with that, it appears that the Fed is going to be, imagine our shock here, you ready? Is going to be approving a series of mergers between banks. Imagine our shock. If you recall, you and me, we called this it started over 2 years ago when we started to see the meltdown of the regional banks, which they're not done. What happened to those regional banks that went under? Do you know what happened to their assets? Well, they were scooped up, all the good stuff, by the bigger institutions. This is, again, a way, and you already know this. Let me finish this first. If you recall, we called this from a long while back, and this is a consolidation of power. Power in fewer hands is another key to the bridge that's being built into the new system. Well, we're going to see a lot more of this moving forward. You already knew all this. So I can't say this is really any inside information for you, but let's just say this. Greg over here, I maybe have a little more insight into this than the regular guy. And I can't say much more about that. Otherwise, I'm going to get somebody knocking on my door here. Anyway, let us move forward here. So Trump's advisors are seeking bank regulator cutbacks. Well, you know this too. Let me explain this to you in case you don't know. What's about to happen, this bridge into the new system, is not just about currency, okay? The darker side of this is everything is going to be reduced into a derivative or a token, a tradable asset. Banks must be deregulated to a very high degree to allow some of the things that are about to happen to take place. Now, banks being deregulated, it never helps the customer. All right, they're predatory institutions. They're going to prey even more on you. When a bank gets to deregulate, they get to take risky bets, especially those in the derivative realm. You understand? This is really what led to the meltdown last time. It's going to lead to it. Look, that mechanism is still in place now. Everything that was going on then is still going on now. Now, deregulation of these institutions is going to allow them to take much bigger risk in the market. Now, they lose, you lose, because they don't lose. They got bailed out last time. They're already getting a backdoor bailout by this merger between cryptocurrency. Oh, let me tell you something about that real quick. Hold on. So between the merger of cryptocurrencies and the banks here, hold that thought for a second. So what's going to end up happening here is we're going to see smaller institutions getting gobbled up by the larger institutions who are going to, again, acquire the good assets on their books for nothing. How this is going to play out, I can't tell you for certain. But if last time told us anything, well, let's just play this out a little bit. I expect to see smaller institutions go under. Okay, as they go under, as we've already seen, the bigger institutions get to buy their assets, the good assets, for pennies on the dollar. You and I get stuck with the garbage. You understand? That's how it always works out. The banks can take any risk they want to. Again, the deregulation of banks is going to allow them to do things you're not going to even believe here with regard to derivative bets. It's going to be astronomical. Going to allow them to potentially reap massive profits, and then they're going to hide the losses long enough to where there's a major problem in the economy. Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate that. Which the bank regulators, they missed last time, of course. No, they didn't. They knew all about it, right? They were waiting for the right time to spring it on the American people to say, listen, we have to take action now, because if we don't do it, you're going to lose it all. It's a setup. The setup is the same right now, but it's much, much greater. So the deregulation of these institutions is going to allow them to do things that they should not be doing, because they can there's no risk. You have to understand. The banks have zero, the major institutions, zero risk. Although I believe when the eventual meltdown comes, there's going to be a sacrificial lamb. There has to be a sacrificial lamb. I still say it's very likely there's going to be Bank of America. They got to set up a scapegoat to say, hey, look, everyone, the banking system collapsed again, but we didn't bail them out. We allowed this institution to fail. That's what they do. It's a game that they play. You understand? Now, with regard to bank deregulation, okay, let's just move forward a little bit more. This bridge that is being built very, very rapidly into the new system. The new system is not just about currency. It's going to allow these institutions to, again, everything is going to be reduced to a derivative. And that means they're going to be when I mean that, even your past, your present, your history, what you may do, what drugs you may buy, what products you may buy, they're all going to turn into a derivative bet. They're going to make everything, including life expectancy, which they already do, I guess, through life insurance policies, but to a greater degree on you, okay? Everything is going to be a tradable asset. And this system that's being built, in which the BRICS want nothing to do with, is supposed to be, it's going to be sold to the people as a way to transact around the world without having to deal with a lot of the regulation. You understand? So banks are going to participate via this deregulatory process in bets that maybe aren't morally sound. Let's put it that way. But that's what's going to end up happening here. And this is a big key to the new system. Again, the banks must be substantially deregulated. They must be allowed to have a free range on anything they want to do. That is going to happen. Do you know? And look, and I'm not calling anybody out here. Do you know which president introduced bank deregulation more so than any other president we've ever seen? Do you have a guess as to who this might be? It happened very kind of recently. Exactly. It was Donald Trump. And it's going to happen again. The banks got the guy they want. They always do. You understand? Wall Street always gets the guy they want. Okay, we get the crap. You understand? The promises of this, the promises of that. None of this stuff ever really happens. You all know that. And we're kind of used to it, which is kind of very, very sad because we don't hold anyone to account. But the fact of the matter is, as you all know already, we've been talking about this for a very, very long time. You're going to see substantial deregulation with the banks because they're going to engage in practices which are probably immoral, unethical, but they're going to be allowed to get away with it. And when they dig themselves in a big fat hole, which they're already in, you have to understand, part of what's happening here is because the bank's balance sheets are black holes. You can't even see into them. They're so freaking deep. And you can't be allowed to know this kind of stuff here. We already, look, it's already in our face. What are they allowing us to know? They're allowing us to know that loan defaults across the board are skyrocketing. Okay. Period. The end. We already know that. And we have to face this commercial real estate issue, which is another part of this black hole, which you're not supposed to know about. Part of the deregulation is to make these banks whole. They're going to take very risky bets to try to fill that in. You understand? But they're not going to be allowed to fail, except for maybe one, the scapegoat. They're setting up a scapegoat. There has to be a scapegoat. You understand? I think we're pretty much on the same page. We're going to see a repeat performance to a much greater degree of '08. You understand? But again, when last time it really wasn't about the markets crashing or even what was going on with the banks. It was the fact that the system was locking. You all know this. At least I hope you do. If you're brand new here, I'm going to tell you some new information. It was the fact that the credit markets were locking up. That's why, again, Bernanke was rushed into Washington on a weekend and told our loving, caring representatives, if we don't start pumping trillions of dollars into the system right now, not Monday, because he said Monday we won't have an economy. What was missing? He didn't say the stock market. The stock market was not what they were concerned about. Bernanke's plan here was to, again, allow you and I to bail out the system. Well, that is happening in other ways now, backdoor bailouts and in front door as well. And again, look, man, I've been telling you guys and girls for the longest time, get your cash out of the banking system. Only keep what you need in there. And I would say the better step would be to get involved in a credit union that's not going to get involved in these risky derivative trades, because that's all deregulation is going to do. It's going to allow these institutions to run wild, knowing that you and me are going to be on the hook again. You understand? I really hope this is making sense to you. Now, I want to let you guys and girls in on another piece of information, okay? Something that you're going to see. You're going to see this. So we understand that the United States is being the crypto capital of the world. We're going to lead the way. Other nations are going to do the same thing, okay? They're all going to start adding Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to their own strategic reserves. There's no doubt in my mind that that is going to happen. There's already talk of it happening behind the scenes. You understand? These world leaders, they know what's going on. They even tell you sometimes, like, at least, look, let's give Trump some credit here. We must give credit where credit's due. The fact that he told you straight out what was going to happen. We got to at least take our hats off to the guy. They have to do that. It's part of the rules of their book, which is not our book. So we have to at least say, you know what, Donald Trump, you told us it was going to happen. It is happening. I want to just say thank you for at least letting us know. Am I right? I think we're kind of on the same page with that. Texas, I'm sure you're going to see a lot of states working on bills here to build up their own cryptocurrency reserves. This is the biggest thing, people. We are being switched right into the system that nobody seems to want, but it's happening anyway. It cannot be stopped. Cannot be stopped. I know that Silver is talking about making gold and silver currency. Do not hold your breath. I'm just reading through the comments here. This is from the world. Laugh it off. The federal government has say over the entire thing, and Trump being a part of the federal government is going to make sure that we are the crypto capital of the world. They already told you. When you see states, how many times have we heard the same nonsense from this state and from that state? It just don't happen. We're not going back to a gold system, a gold standard. It's a crypto world. That's where we're going. I know you guys and girls don't like it. I don't like it either. But that's the pathway into the future. Far removed from any kind of a gold back then. When you see things like that, like this state is thinking about this and this state might be doing that, this is deliberate too, to keep you off balance. It's not happening. It's never happened before. It's not going to happen again. The new world order means a crypto-based system, a blockchain-based system. You understand? Start to wake up. And at least, like I said, Trump had the guts to tell you. Let's give the man some credit here. Honestly, but ignore stuff like that. It ain't happening. When there's no state that's going to be afforded the ability, it ain't happening. I am certain that you can find a particular establishment that you will walk in there with an ounce of gold and would be willing to transact for you in gold here. More than likely in mom and pop shops. But mom and pop shops, they're going away, man. They're being made extinct. They're going the way of the freaking dodo bird. You understand that? They can't have mom and shops, but they can't allow them to be transacting and stuff like this. No. It's their system, the Federal Reserve System, soon to be the world system, maybe not the BRIC system, but that's what the European Central Bank, I would imagine other central banks are right in the middle. They're not telling you this stuff here, but it's going to happen. You're going to start to, believe me on this, you're going to start to hear other nations, central banks or other nations themselves, their world leaders say, hey, you know what? We're going to start adding Bitcoin to our reserves. Do you think this is not going to happen? Can you not see the writing on the wall, people? You know this is going to happen. Come on, man. It's too freaking easy. And for those of you, again, look, man, I'm getting beat up quite a bit with regard to Bitcoin. I've been getting beat up with telling people to buy Bitcoin since I said to start buying in that 17,500. We're at 101,000 right now, okay? I've been getting beat up and punished over it. I'm telling you here, if we know, look, man, people, there are certain things in life that are literally no-brainers, okay? Here's one for you. We've already been told we're going to be the crypto capital of the world. Other nations are going to follow suit. Do you not believe this is going to happen? Do you not see that happening? Is Greg out there? Should Greg put a tinfoil hat on right now? Because he's going to be wrong on this one. You know I'm not going to be wrong. You know I'm not going to be wrong on this. Other nations are going to do the same thing. And you can only imagine where Bitcoin's going to go. Look, man, pressure is going to remain on commodities, gold and silver, again, for the foreseeable future. That, to me, is a gift because it doesn't stop what eventually is going to happen here. The debt market remains a time bomb. It's going to go off. Cash, look, what do you think? America is going to be made the crypto capital of the world. Other nations are going to do the same thing. They're going to start hoarding Bitcoin and crypto and XRP and all this stuff because they know where this is going. What have I told you? Greg Mannarino has said to you guys thousands of times how this is going to play out. You want me to tell you again for the new people here? Debt market implosion is going to crush the stock markets of the world. Cash doesn't grow little cute money wings and just fly into money heaven. It's going to move into other assets. It's going to go into commodities in a massive way, and it's going to go into cryptocurrencies. Does that sound familiar to you? Because this guy's only been telling you that for, I don't know, freaking years. Does it sound right to you when I'm saying people know the truth when they hear it? What I've outlined for you here, honestly, has one thing I've said to you sound wrong, has sound off, or does every single word that I just said to you sound like the truth? Yeah, it sounds like the truth because people are smart enough to know the truth when they hear it, people. So anyway, what are you going to take away from this, people? Expect massive deregulation with the banks. Expect the consolidation of the system because you knew about it. More power consolidated into the pyramid. You understand? The pinnacle of power, the central banks, the Federal Reserve right now. That's not going to stop. And the fact that we have not just the United States, but soon to be other nations that are going to start adding Bitcoin to their strategic reserves and other cryptocurrencies, plural, as well, to their strategic reserves. This should tell you something. Do you realize what I am explaining to you here? Does this sound like something? Let maybe there's a word pop up into your head. Are you ready? Bing, opportunity. Look, man, I understand that a lot of you out here still hate this stuff. And I'm talking about cryptocurrencies here. I get it. Nobody gets it better than me. I would much rather us be going back into a constitutional money system where the U.S. Constitution says that nothing else besides gold and silver should be used as currency. I get that. But we're being removed from the Constitution in every freaking way you can imagine here. And power is again going right up to those who want to control the freaking world, who do control the entire world. We're being eliminated. You guys and girls don't believe what I'm saying, really? Do you not see what's happening? Honestly, people are struggling. They can't get by. They're borrowing from their credit cards just to make ends meet. As I've been telling you, it's not going to stop. This mechanism is in full force. Why? What's the root cause of this problem here? The root cause of this problem is exactly what's happening here, and we're being sold by the promises of lower rates. Okay, European Central Bank just said it. Trump has promised you this. The Federal Reserve is right in the middle of doing this here right now. Lower rates are an economic destroyer because it wrecks the purchasing power of the currency. People, please do your own research on this. This is not an accident. Why this is happening? Why you've been told these things are going to happen. Maybe you need to read between the lines a little bit here. Maybe Trump is not such a bad guy. Maybe he's trying to tell you, hey guys, I promise you lower rates, hoping that maybe you'll understand that he doesn't have the power to do it. No president has the power. None. Jeffrey, thank you. Exactly. I need a few beers. No president has the power to lower rates. So when a presidential selectee tells you, I promise you low rates, maybe he's hoping. And maybe I'm giving Trump a little too much credit here. I don't know. But sometimes I like to give out credit where credit's due because I punish these people upside down back. I destroyed Obama. I melted down Bidenstein mummy, man. And I did the same thing to Trump, which I will continue to do. But I'm trying to help the guy out here. Maybe by Trump promising you lower rates, he's thinking, hold on a minute. These people know that I, as president, do not have the power to lower rates. Maybe they'll read between the lines here and they'll understand that the Fed's going to do it. And maybe they should take action. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving the guy too much credit here. I don't know. He is the guy that's making us the crypto capital of the world. So I don't know what I'm telling you. But you got to understand. Sometimes you got to read the code here. You understand? I really hope you do, guys and girls. Look, man, expect regulation, deregulation, big time. Consolidation of power. You already knew this because we spoke about it forever here. I don't know what to tell you. Believe me, I am keeping my eyes on this because I'm watching this. I think that we'll have a big problem if we go par with the federal funds rate. I don't think it's going to happen. I believe the Fed's going to jump in here before any of that. honestly happens. So guys and girls, is there anything specific you want to talk about before we part ways here? Let me ask you guys a question, and I want to see your answers. Do you believe what I said is true? That as the United States is going to be adding Bitcoin, which we've been told again, there's talk about selling an exorbitant amount of US gold, which we may or may not have, to buy 1 million Bitcoin. Okay. Do you think that because we are doing that, we're leading the way, that other nations, central banks are going to do the same thing as we're being bridged? People, this is a collective effort here. You have to really understand that this isn't just the United States. We're being moved. The people of this world are being moved into a new paradigm, a whole new set of rules. Have you been with me long enough to remember I've been telling you that for 10 years? There's a whole new paradigm coming. A whole new set of rules are coming. Yeah, I've told you that for like 10 freaking years. This is part of it, what you're seeing now. So do you see what I'm saying? Do you see truth in what I'm saying here? Because if I'm wrong here, I will eat my words. Okay, I will say, guys and girls, we need some time to go here. We need to see what's going to happen over the next several months into the year. But if I'm wrong in saying what I'm saying now, that I believe that other nations are going to follow suit here with adding Bitcoin to their strategic reserves as well, and maybe selling gold to do it, I just can't imagine that I'm wrong here. Look, some things are just too simple to see. And this, in my view, is one of them. Thomas, you may be correct. You know what? That's actually something that we should talk about. There may be, and I mean may be, a correction here in the market, which we clearly need. Now, I'm not telling anybody that they shouldn't be buying this market right now, but it is possible. We are so, and I hate to use this term, ready, overdue for a correction in this market. Markets are not supposed to go straight up. We're supposed to have corrective phases. We don't seem to get corrective phases anymore. It just is a straight up run. It's just abnormal. So is it possible that we could get a January correction? Absolutely. What should we do? We should welcome it. What are we going to do? We're going to be watching the 10-year yield. We're going to be watching the MMRI, and a lot of other dynamics that are going on. And I promise to keep all of you on top of it. You know that I will. Oh, guys and girls, absolutely. Too big to fail broke the game, and it's been skewed in their favor, man. And wait till you see what's coming. Deregulation, massive derivative bets on things that you're not even going to believe about, what you may or may not do in the future, what medications you may or may not need in the future, how many children you might have. You name it, it's going to be reduced into a tradable asset with the new system. It's not just about the currency. It's very, very expansive. And I hope you guys and girls are starting to educate yourselves on this. I mean, I've done all I can. I really have. I've written papers about this. I've done videos about this. I am working my tail off here to try to bring you guys up to speed as to what's happening here. Understand? But who pays? Who pays what? We pay. It's always the middle class. It gets sucked right out of us. Who pays? You know who pays. That's a crazy question. Is it 25% crypto allocation too high? I don't think so. But never play with cash that you can't afford to lose, people. Understand, look, man. Let's just throw this out here. The crypto space is held by a few hands. They're called whales at this point. Whales can move the market like that. So expect volatility here. We have Bitcoin at 100,000. Let me say this. I would not be surprised, and neither should you, to see a 70% sell-off. Yeah, you heard that right. A 70% sell-off followed by a massive rebound. So just be ready for anything. You got to be hedged here, people. And you can't rattle. We don't rattle. Let me explain this to you maybe another way. You can't be in this market at all in any capacity if you don't have cash that you cannot afford to lose, or you don't understand why you're putting cash to work in whatever asset, whatever it might be, even these things. If you don't understand why, and you don't understand, we're taking on risk here, and you have to be willing to take on risk as well. It's just to keep the system and understanding how we have to play this game. I don't want to play it anymore. Believe me, I'm so sick of it. I'm looking so forward to the day I don't have to do this anymore. But I'm here because of you guys and girls. I would have stopped this a long time ago. But I feel like we're doing something. We're making a positive difference in the world. Does that sound about right to you? It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Oh, I tell you, man. Tokenized PMS. Are we talking about, PMS? I don't know. Maybe there'll be tokenized bets on women's when a women's menstrual cycle is going to begin. I have no idea. Maybe that's your name. Okay. Don't short anything here. Anyone that's shorting anything here has got a screw loose. Don't short. Okay. There's no reason to short. You got to be looking for reasons to get longer here. You have to understand that. You gotta. Look, man, I know I'm going to get called out on this because it's just people make videos about me. Do you realize that? It's astonishing. Well, Greg Mannarino is saying this, and then they make a joke out of it. And then a month or 2 or 3 later, what they were making fun of me about actually happens. Like, for example, me saying that other nations are going to start loading up on Bitcoin. Let's see where that goes. Let's see how many people make a meme about Greg. How many people make video? Oh, Greg is going to be wrong. Greg, no, he's wrong on this one. Other nations are not going to start to stockpile Bitcoin or other crypto. This is just not going to happen. Greg is crazy. It's going to zero. I'm ready for it anyway. All right, guys and girls. I think we're going to call it here. Unless, of course, there's anything else you want to speak about. I don't like this. I wish we were going back to a constitutional money system, gold and silver, which we are supposed to be guaranteed in the U.S. Constitution. Where's that? What happened with that whole thing? Well, it doesn't work anymore. And the 1% and 2%, which run it all, the handful of families that run the world, they're making sure that doesn't happen. And they're making sure that we are transitioned into this new system, this one world thing, this new world order. Banks are being deregulated. They're going to do things you can't believe. But realize what it means. They're not in trouble. No. I'm talking about the big banks. You're in trouble. But there'll be no outcry. There'll be no pushback. There probably isn't any now. And they're just going to do what they want. You know that. Don't be surprised. None of this stuff should surprise you. Yes, Dementia Joe, it was just a Halloween costume. The man wore an upside-down cross on his chest because he's a devout Catholic, a devout Christian. But he wore this thing on his chest because it was just a costume. You know that. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Guys and girls, love all of you with all I got. And it is about that time for us we're going to part ways for just a little bit. Not too long, but we're going to take this week. We're going to put it behind us. But I really would like you guys to hear from you guys and girls about the stuff we've discussed here. Greg, you know what? You're making sense. Greg, you are so far detached from reality. I can accept that. But just tell me why, okay? We're here to help each other out, right? Help me out too, all right? That's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Mayonnaise. What about mayonnaise, man? I love mayonnaise. I eat it right out of the freaking jar. Guys, that's it, all right? Let's bring it in. Bring it in. I will wait. Bring it in. Ready? Love each other. Care about each other. Be charitable to each other. People, embrace what we have here. It can't be stopped. It can't be changed. I'm not happy about it. But the fact of the matter is, we can't stop it. Unless you guys and girls can tell me, unless there is divine intervention here. There ain't another way to stop it. Okay. So we have to look for opportunity. And I think that you and I, we really got it. We've done what we had to do. It's my favorite part too. All right. I will see you Sunday for my markets to look ahead. Okay. And please, everyone, just do the right thing. You know why? You know why you should do the right thing? Because the right thing is always the right thing to do. I'll see you.